Uh, Hello everybody. Sorry I'm late. I just had a late morning today, you know what I mean? So I was running a little late. But it's not bad. It's only 5 minutes. Um I I'm having a little bit of an issue with YouTube right now in that it doesn't want to do the button I clicked. So we're just kind of sitting here waiting to see either YouTube is gonna crash or it's gonna do the thing I asked it to do. And I'm just gonna have to wait this one out, I guess. Uh, yeah. So, so yeah. I guess I'll just I'm just kind of like buying time to let people join. You know, you always have to wait like 5 minutes for people to join. It sends out the invitations or notifications or whatever to all the people in all the world, and then they join. Um, that's the way it works. Anyways, uh, see what I was trying to do was Martin was just complaining that there's no moderator. So I was gonna make him the moderator, and then I clicked the moderator button, and it's just spinning its little wheel. It's just spinning. Uh, so I guess that's YouTube saying it doesn't want Martin to be the moderator. Oh well, maybe next time. A loaf. There were some loaves today. Let's see if I can find a loaf in the spreadsheet. Because there were some loaves. There was a loaf. Loaf. Um, I guess there weren't loaves today. I swear I mapped a loaf. But apparently I didn't. Oh well. Apparently I didn't. Okay, now YouTube. Okay, it decided. It's decided. It's made its decision. Its final decision. Martin is not a moderator. That's YouTube. I asked YouTube, should Martin be a moderator? And YouTube said, "Nah." Thank you, Hannah. All right. Okay, so um, there is some news today. One thing I want to say is that I haven't had time to look at Kleshivka and Andriivka yet because I know that Ukraine has advanced, but I've been waiting for the satellite pass to come through, which hopefully it came out today. I don't know if it's cloudy or not. I guess I could load that real quick in the background, but I haven't had time to even check if it's cloudy or not. So I've been waiting for this satellite pass to figure out what's going on here. And oh boy, oh boy, the satellite pass is not looking very good. Oh boy. Well, here's some positive news. Um, the satellite pass didn't even get to Bakhmut, so that's one positive. The other positive is that it is really bad weather, so I guess there's no satellite today. So I guess we don't really get an update here, do we? That's unfortunate. I'm just gonna have to randomly guess then. Oh man, because I think if you remember, let's go back to the green eyeballs that I made last time, which maybe the last green eyeballs we ever get. What day was that? It was the 30th, the 5th. Yeah, the 5th. Let's go back to the 5th. Because these green eyeballs were interesting, in that, and also the 30th were interesting, but um, they were interesting in that there seemed to be fighting along this tree line, like the whole length of it, and this one, and that one up to here, and this little intersection had all, it seemed to have all fighting on it, and yeah, so these are the last images we got ever since that's been cloudy. So you could see there's shelling back here, there's shelling here, and there was shelling up here. You could see that there's shelling all back here, all along this tree line, along here, uh, pretty heavily there, and of course here. So all of this shelling, um, I am pretty sure that Ukraine has, I don't know if they control it, but I think they've moved the front line to like there. And they probably did it over a week ago, probably 10 days ago. And I haven't been able to update my map because there's been no drone footage, there's been no satellite imagery. So there's really nothing more than rumor to go off of. Um, and the rumors that I get, like the people I've heard from, were more on the pessimistic side of things than on the optimistic side, where they said that like Ukraine had moved up, but they hadn't captured anything, and that Russia has been counterattacking, and that the whole area is a gray area. Um, so I'm probably going to move the gray area back to like there. I was really hoping for a satellite pass, but we're not getting one. So uh, yeah. Beyond that, um, I don't really have much news from north of Bakhmut. Um, don't really have much news from Bilahorivka or Sperna. The only news we have from the Kremena area is that airstrikes are increasing. I only draw one, but you could imagine lots of them. uh, and in this Nevska and Makivka area, there's been ongoing fighting here. Russia's been trying to push. They've lost a whole bunch of vehicles, like this one. That video came out yesterday. Um, so they've been trying to push towards Makivka, and they say that they're pushing towards Nevska, but I don't really see that. I like maybe they mean like here, like maybe this counts as Nevska. I don't know. But anyway, I haven't seen any evidence towards Nevska, but Makivka, I have no particular news other than there's ongoing fighting, and north of uh, Novoselivska, we had video of Russian forces moving along this train railway on what used to be the Ukrainian side of it. That they now basically control this section of railway, and they've been moving up this tree line. I don't think they ever got to this intersection. They're just moving up that tree line very slowly, getting shelled pretty heavily. But other than that, I don't know much about that area. And up here, where am I? I'm confused. Oh, this is the wrong day. Up here, there was a very interesting video that came out yesterday. I wish I could show it because it's not terrible. I don't think I can. It's unfortunate because it's a fascinating video. So I'll just describe it to you. So basically, a Ukrainian tank came from here, and it moved up this tree line, and it entered this Russian controlled territory here. And it was just kind of rolling up the line, shooting its gun, its main cannon, just shooting HE all throughout here, which is a trench line. I actually think it's two trench lines, if I remember right. There's like one trench line here and another one like parallel to it there. So so it was kind of just rolling up the trench line like uh like literally like a track on each side of the trench just rolling up. It actually looked really dangerous to me. Like you could like get the tank stuck. But anyways, it was rolling up, shooting its gun and having fun. Kind of like just kind of like being a tank, just daring people to shoot it. So it was doing that, and then some Russian vehicles started driving up here. It was like I think it was two tanks in the BMP. They started driving up and started shooting at him. So he kind of drove away and ran away, and then the Russian tanks turned around and ran away. So that was like a little thing that happened right here, and it clarified some position that this this little stretch of woods is under Russian control. It showed that this stretch of wood is neutral, is a gray area that Russia moved in trying to force Ukraine out and then ran away as they were getting shelled. I believe one of the tanks was damaged, although it never showed how it was damaged. I think I can show that part of the video because there's no tanks running over people in that part. Here's the end of the video where I don't think there's anything bad here. I think this is in reverse, isn't it? I can't tell if this is reverse or if there's just. Oh, the speed is really fast. Anyways, you can see that this vehicle is damaged. I'm not really sure what's going on here. This part of the video I find weird. I don't know if this is like taken out of context or what. But anyways, the main point is that some Russian tanks fended off a Ukrainian tank who ran away. Um, Other than that, Russia is attacking around Liman Pershi, moving towards Sinkivka, and there's been a bunch of airstrikes, etc., going on here. Um, but all in all, there's not terribly much news coming from the north right now. So most of what we're going to be talking about today is from the south, or specifically Avdiivka. There is one point, a Russian mine killed a civilian in Kharkiv. Um, so that's very sad. Yesterday, there was another mine in a very similar location that killed a different person, which is also sad. Um, so anyway, mining, I just want to make the point that mining has been a very big problem. Uh, I don't really have money for satellites, so I used free satellite, which is an optical based satellite. And this time of year, it's like impossible to get optical images because it's cloudy like every day. So you really have to have good luck to get an image. And even when you do get an image, you can usually only see like one or two spots. You can't see everything because you're looking through like cracks in the clouds, basically. So what you do need, what you need for this time of year is some image that can penetrate the clouds, and those images exist. There's various technologies that can penetrate the clouds, but I don't really have access to those. I can get images of a specific area, like 1 to 5 square kilometers, something like that. But I can't get the sort of image where it's like everything or like big swaths, like 200 kilometers wide or 300 or 600 or whatever. I can't get that in those images, so it's very frustrating. If I know where I want to look, I could get a higher res image, but the problem is I don't know where I want to look. So it's all very frustrating. It's just this time of year it's just difficult unless you have a ton of money or access to uh, free access to that, those images. Okay, so now near the Robotyne area, the Orkiv area, um, the other day, um, recently, I think it was. I don't actually know when this attack happened, but the video came out on the 11th, I believe, or maybe the 10th, of a Russian assault, which we can view this. We can view this one, I think, because this video. I'm gonna skip to the part. This video is very very interesting. To me anyway. So let's make it bigger. Let's make it bigger. How do I make you bigger? Oh boy, I don't know how to make it bigger. It's a very low quality video, so it's hard to make bigger. Okay, so there, it's bigger now. Let's rewind a little bit. Uh, so here you can see, I think these are BMP2s and a tank. So this is an assault. They're moving north, sort of from the Nova Mykhailivka area. It's to the east of it. It's kind of like halfway between Nova Mykhailivka and Verbova. So these vehicles are moving north. They are shelling positions along a tree line. So this is one tree line. There's another tree line like here that's difficult to see, or at least difficult to see at the moment. Now, what I find super interesting is something that's about to happen, and I have wondered why this isn't normal. Why this doesn't happen like literally every assault, but it does happen here, and basically, you can sort of see it starting. They moved up. They're shooting smoke. I don't know who's shooting smoke. I think it's artillery, but there's going to be some smoke there, and there's going to be some more smoke like here. And you see them. They're shooting this tree line, and they're going to be disembarking infantry shortly. See, they shot smoke here. They're basically covering everything with smoke. You see, there's smoke back there. There's smoke here. There's smoke there. There's smoke here. Now there's smoke there. So they're going to cover this whole frontal arc with smoke. And while the smoke is billowing and taking effect, they are suppressing the tree line with the BMPs and the tank, while the infantry disembark and get into this tree line here, which is what they're trying to capture. So this is I believe a Ukrainian artillery shell. So this was a Russian assault, into what was the gray area, and I think it's still a gray area actually, but I do think that this assault let Russia capture basically everything up till around here, but they didn't get this perpendicular tree line, which is where Ukraine has dug in. So you can see the smoke really covering everything, and then now you're seeing the Russian vehicles leave. So this is, I think, one of the most coordinated assaults that I've seen in this entire war. And it makes me wonder, why don't they do things like this more often? Um, and you see like one vehicle left, one vehicle staying in the front, suppressing still, uh, and I think one vehicle is like halfway in between. So this is their assault. There's this whole video is about 20 minutes long, and I'm gonna stop it there because I don't want to watch the rest because it's just kind of more of the same. Okay, so this assault, which I found fascinating to watch, I watched that video a bunch of times. You see them driving up here. They stop around here. Uh, they're shooting. They're shooting here, in the beginning, the first few shots from the tank are here, and then the rest are along this tree line. The infantry disembark. The, the second half of that video shows the whole fight from the infantry's perspective. One of the guys is wearing a GoPro, and you see him dismount and move up. So this is that Russian assault. So this occurred here. It's kind of like between Verbova and Nova Mykhailivka, assaulting this gray area. I don't think they ever got to this perpendicular tree line. They were only moving along this one. So this is why I have this tree line now under Russian control. Thank you, Kelly. Anyways, if you do want to watch that video, it's right here. The first 5 minutes, which is what we were just watching, the first 5 minutes are the vehicles, and it's kind of a low quality video, and then it goes to a GoPro, which is much higher quality. Okay, so beyond that, we had a video today of a Ukrainian assault on this tree line, where we see first a tank move up, engaging the Russian positions here. The tank moves up, they engage and suppress. Then a BMP moves in, which you can see right here. So the tank is there. The BMP moves up. It moves up to around here. And then the infantry jump out. The infantry capture this position, and the Russians run away. And this position is now under Ukrainian control. Yesterday, there was a drone footage of Russia attacking this position. So we actually knew Ukraine had captured this position yesterday. We knew as of yesterday, although it probably happened a few days ago. And now we have this video of them taking the position, which I can't show that video. But if you want to watch it, you can click that button and you can watch it yourself. So that's kind of all I have to say about the Robotyne area. So Russia is attacking here. They made some minor progress. Ukraine is attacking here towards Kopani, and they've made some progress. And other than that, I don't see any differences. Now moving on over to Mykhailivka area. This is somewhat interesting, and I have no particular news of anything in between. So in the Mykhailivka area, we've seen something interesting. Now, I don't know if this is Ukraine progressing or if they have been here the entire time, because as you can see, I've had this as a gray area. As you can see, I've had this as a gray area, and but over the past week or so, because this is the 6th, so this is 7 days ago. So over the past week, we got a video of Russian shelling here, and then shelling there, and then here, and then there again, and then no news for a day, and then here. So, so Russia's shelling is getting ever closer to Mykhailivka, and this vehicle, which I believe is a Ukrainian BMP, although it's like almost impossible to tell what this is. I just think it's a BMP. I think that's the turret, and I think that's a track. I don't know. It's really hard to tell what vehicle this is. It could be in M113, or it could be just something completely different. I'm not sure. I think it's Ukrainian though. And there was Russian shelling here around the exploding vehicle because you can see it on fire there. So there's Russian shelling around it. It was apparently Russian. The Russians say it was Russian shelling, so that's really the only reason I think it is. So yeah, it appears that Ukraine is getting ever closer to Mykhailivka, and in this same video, there's Russian shelling along this tree line here, um, approximately right there, and there is more shelling over here, which is getting pretty close to some other positions that are quite interesting. But so this is kind of news from Mykhailivka because we constantly hear that Russia is attacking north from Mykhailivka towards Volodar, but the videos keep showing Ukraine getting closer to Mykhailivka, and Russia doesn't seem to be getting closer to Volodar. So I'm not really sure what else to make of it than that. I don't know if this is Ukraine advancing or attacking, or if Ukraine was just there the whole time and we didn't know it. Uh, Now, closer to Nova Mykhailivka, uh, there was this assault video that came out yesterday. I don't know if this assault was yesterday, it may have been a day before, I'm not really sure. But Russia did a rather large assault. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think there's an eighth. I think 7 or 8 vehicles just here. And then if you look closely, it appears that there may have been a bunch of destroyed vehicles here previously, maybe. But they did this assault, and they moved up from here. So the assault was basically they started down here, they moved on up. We see that image of them here where they kind of like went out like that, and then they kind of curved, and they ended up over here, where you have all of these vehicles. So there's this, which I don't know if anyone can figure out what this vehicle is. People guess that it might be a BMP. I'm not really sure. It's so exploded and such low quality, I can't tell what it is. This is a BMP that seems to have exploded. This is an MTLB, another MTLB, and I think I'm not really sure what that is. It's something that exploded. Here's a tank that was disabled. You can see both of its tracks are missing. I think that's an MTLB, and I think this is an MTLB that's on fire. I think this one is just getting shot. So this is the other side of their assault. It didn't go well. So this is a T80 BV. This is an MTLB that's on fire. This is a BMP1, and this is a who knows. So this is their assault. If you look at the Russian propaganda, they take this assault to mean that they captured this position. I don't think they captured the position. I think they mostly just lost all their vehicles. Um, so yeah, that is their assault south of Nova Mykhailivka. We've recently talked about their other assault that was over here, where I think they started here, moved on up, and tried to go towards Mykhailivka this way. The furthest they got was right there where their tank exploded, which is actually close to Nova Mykhailivka. And then separately from all of this, and this is somewhat worrying. Oh, and I want to say that this attack that I have marked on the 9th, I believe it actually happened on the 25th. And this, which I'm going to talk about right now, what we have here is what appears to be a Russian DRG, Deep Reconnaissance Group. They appear to have set up camp along this road, and I think this was around the 25th as well. They set up camp along this road, and they mined it. They mined it approximately here. So they set up a bunch of mines, and then they moved on up, and they set up an ambush point up here. So what they ended up accomplishing was that a Ukrainian tank driving up this road blew out all of its tracks on the mines, and a Ukrainian SUV that was driving down was engaged by infantry. So that this, I think this was all part of the same attack. So I think they had this recon group up here, terrorizing this road, and simultaneously an assault coming here. And I think it all happened on the same day, just based on the satellite imagery. Okay. So I feel like I've been talking for a while. I want to read some of your comments. Uh, yeah, Bober is at it again, telling us where the front line is, as per usual. I feel like Bober, they were they were filming the front line here. They got in trouble. They got kicked out. They said you have to go to the back. You know, they went to the back, and now they're like, oh man, we could film the front line again. Because this is the new front line, man. So so yeah, yeah. If you have any like questions or comments for me, just put my name in your message, so it turns orange and I can see it when it's orange. Otherwise, I can't see it. Where are the guests? I don't know where the guests are. You could be a guest, Martin. You could just step in and start talking. I tried making you the moderator. Didn't let me. Okay. So, anyways, moving on. I have no news from Mariinka. So we're to Avdiivka basically. So I that's all the news other than Avdiivka. I don't know anything about the ship. I mean there's a video today. I don't know what the video means. I'm not really a boat person. I don't know anything about the ship. You have to ask like a boat person. You have to ask like Exit, ask or someone like that. I don't really know anything about boats. Oh. I always forget that Martin just is in a pile of sleeping children all the time. Uh, okay, so now in around Avdiivka, so we have. I'm just going to start with the south. Um, so first off, there was this interesting thing today where Russia dropped pamphlets, these like propaganda pamphlets. I don't know if you can see them. They're these like sheets of paper falling from the air. I can show the video. I don't think there's uh I don't think this is bad to show littering. I mean, maybe it is bad. Maybe it is a crime to show littering. But they're dropping these they're like pamphlets, like little propaganda. So they're dropping them over Pervomaiska, right? So what's interesting is that if where they're dropping this is a Ukrainian position, it means Ukraine moved up a lot from the last time we saw. So if you remember the naked tanker, the guy who everyone remembers the naked tanker. It doesn't need much more description than that. So that occurred like right here, if I remember right. That was like this was the naked tanker. I moved the area of control roughly up to the naked tanker. So if I remember right, the naked tanker was right here. So if Ukraine is actually over here where they're dropping these propaganda pamphlets, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility that they would move up that far because it's been a while, right? I can't even remember how long that was. Uh, when was that? Yeah, it's been like a while, right? Yeah. So it would totally make sense for Ukraine to move up that far. I have heard from people who are not terribly reliable that they insist to me. They insist they're not entirely reliable, but they insist to me that Ukraine controls all the way up to like here. They say that this final like half block is a no man's zone, and that Ukraine controls up to around here. And this is a gray. It's a gray area here, and a gray area there, and a gray area like over here. And this is a gray area. That's what they keep telling me, and I keep saying, okay, there's no evidence of that. But this pamphlet thing could be some evidence. No, the Discord is not public. It's it's really just for like 10 people. And most of the Discord revolves around updating the map, or I mean, honestly, most of it's about updating the map. It's mostly conversations that come from updating the map. It's I don't know. It's not public though. I was thinking about making it public, but I decided not to. Why are the tanks getting so close together to engage? It's because they can't see each other. Um, there's no line of sight. They can't see, so that you have to get where you can see because the ground is more or less flat, but it's not literally flat. So and also keep in mind, I don't know if this is actually playing a role, but keep in mind that Soviet tanks can't aim down. So if you just keep just always keep that in mind. Soviet tanks can't aim down; they can only like aim straight and up. Because it does actually make a big difference in how you use the tank. Um, you have like almost no gun depression, so you have to you have to be like on like if there's a slope like if there's a bump between you and the enemy, a Soviet tank can't drive up the bump and shoot. They have to drive up the bump and then drive down the other side to shoot. So just keep that in mind. Those small diameter bombs. It's hard to have an opinion on them because we've never seen them actually work. We don't know what their limits are. We don't know if they can be jammed, how susceptible they are to electronic warfare, what kind of targets they can't engage for technical reasons. There's going to be all sorts of limitations that we just don't know because we don't really know fully what they're capable of. And they're probably never going to send us the pamphlets telling us how they work either. So we're just going to occasionally see something explode, and then other times we won't see things explode, and we'll have to use logic to figure out why which is which. And it might not always be obvious why certain targets are engaged and others aren't. Um, if we see lots of things explode very frequently, that would be a good sign that they're not very susceptible to electronic warfare. If we see only very few things explode, That would be a good sign that they are subject to electronic warfare. The other thing is that their manufacturing at first is going to be very, very, very small. So there's going to be very few bombs in the beginning, and over time it will ramp up. But at the start, there's going to be very small numbers. I don't know exactly how many, but it's going to be very small numbers. And for the first, I don't know, like 3 months, they might not even make a difference. And then as the manufacturing ramps up, they might make bigger and bigger differences, and they might be a huge game changer. I really have no idea, so it's hard to talk about it because we there's so much we don't know, and the things we do know all point to it not being a big deal, at least for a few months after they arrive, due to their very small numbers. Um, I mean, I don't know if we're going to be talking about 20 or 100 or whatever, but it's not going to be that many at first because the, the full scale manufacturing hasn't started yet. Are there weapons that I expect to see but we haven't seen yet? Not really. Um, Unfortunately, most of the world never developed a drone based munition. And by that, I mean a standardized bomblet from a drone. Um, so for that reason, we'll probably not see um, drones, like military style drones given, because there's no bomblet. Um, like, for example, there's the Mavic 3 drones. From what I understand, most countries, like the United States and probably the UK, and most countries can and or already have developed a drone that can do like what the Mavic does, but they never developed a munition for it. And the issue, it's not that developing a munition is hard, because it's not. But the issue is that you have to go through so many levels of bureaucracy in order to develop this munition that it's like way above everyone's pay grade to do it. So it hasn't been done, and the people who are capable of doing it like don't want to. So it's a bureaucratic problem. It's not like a technical problem. So the weapons that I would like to see can't come for that reason, and it's very frustrating. Because nobody ever developed the munition. They never even really considered it. There's no standardized thing. What is my job? I make a map. I just draw squiggles on a map. Job. Okay, so anyway, let's move on. So south of Pervomaiske and north of Pervomaiske, Russia's attacking both. From what I understood, the southern attack is the stronger attack, but we've also seen very, very little evidence of the southern attack. We saw we saw some video. Do I have it here? Yeah, I think I can show this video. I think I can show this video. I don't think there's anything bad in it, at least in the beginning. So, um, okay. So there's this video that we had of this southern attack. You see, this is oh boy, maybe I should stop now. But you can see this is that overpass that's part of the highway that they never finished building, and these are the vehicles going through what is a no man's land that I was just talking about. So that's these vehicles here going through this no man's land, trying to basically get to this side of Pervomaisket. And so, like, this is Pisky, basically. So they're going here, trying to move on up. Now, I'm not sure if they were going around and going this way, or if they were just going that way. Not entirely sure. I have heard very explicitly been told that they were attacking south. So I interpret that as here, which they have attacked many times in the past. So I don't find that unbelievable. Although it's possible they were just it's possible this is what they meant by south, just along this road. But either way, I see no. I've not seen anything beyond them kind of crossing here, and no signs of success. There's no obvious success, and Russia's been shelling this kind of spot back here. So, in addition, Russia has they tried moving first like along this tree line, and then second through this road in Vildiana. And here they lost several tanks to mines. So that's been the attack here. It's been a whole bunch of nothing. So yeah. So now this attack north from Vodiana, it appears that this assault basically failed. I could probably, and I probably will, delete this gray area because I think Ukraine basically reestablished along this tree line. I'm pretty sure. They kind of let Russia keep advancing, and keep in mind that the vehicle we saw advancing this far was literally one vehicle. He just YOLO'd. He just kept going. So he YOLO'd up here. Probably was destroyed. Some say he's still driving. So that's basically that. What we have seen is that all of the Russian assaults here have led to extremely high casualties, which we have marked and talked about prior. We've seen all sorts of vehicles destroyed, abandoned motorcycles. Oops. We've seen destroyed BMPs. We've seen damaged BMPs. We've seen all sorts of MTLBs destroyed. This whole assault, from everything that I can gather, achieved nothing. This whole Vodiana assault, from what I can tell, did nothing, literally nothing. So just keep in mind that this tree line here it may have been in Ukrainian control at the beginning of this assault. This tree line here may have also been in Ukrainian control. So what we're talking about here is that Russia may have taken back a tree line that we don't even know if Ukraine was in it, and they may have taken back this tree line, which Ukraine may have been in, and they might at most be in this tree line here. So we saw some attacking there, but they may have also been beaten back from there, and that so the full extent of this offensive in the south was to move up like 1.5 tree lines. So uh, so the Vodiana thing has been a disaster. In addition, they have moved up south of Avdiivka, and they've captured this position, which is known as Oral or Orel, whatever. Anyways, they captured this position. They've moved on up to this little section of the highway here, and I don't know if them crossing the highway or moving any further, but they have captured this little position, which is a position that has a lot of history to it. I don't really want to get into the history, but you can Google it. It's spelled OREL. And you can Google it. This was a significant achievement for Ukraine to have captured this, I believe, in 2017, and they held it more or less the entire time since. They did lose it, I believe, briefly last year, and they recaptured it a few weeks or months ago, and now Russia has taken it. Uh, no loaves, I'm sorry. Uh, anyways, okay, so this northern assault on Avdiivka, a video came out, I believe, earlier today, that I haven't mapped yet, but it occurred like right here. It shows that okay, so last time we showed that big pile up of vehicles that were, oop, not that, this video here. We showed this big pile up of video of vehicles where you see them all just kind of sitting here, all these vehicles, and it goes back for like kilometers. If the camera go that way, okay. So you see all these vehicles. They kind of follow this road backwards, and they kind of keep going. There's all these vehicles here and over there, and there's so many. This is a huge assault, absolutely huge. Well, a video came out earlier today, I believe, or maybe it was yesterday, and it more or less showed a very large fraction of all of those vehicles destroyed, like right here. They're all destroyed, like right here. So they they made it. They got where they're going, and they all blew up. Um, yeah, uh, yeah. That was the end of their story, I guess. Maybe I can find that video if you give me a second, um, because it was rather funny. Uh, I don't I don't know if I can show it though. It's unfortunate. It's so unfortunate you can't show the news on YouTube. Like they get so offended by the news. It's like, uh, where is it? Where did it go? Uh, Give me a second. I'm having technical problems here. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna yeah. So those are this is how it's going. It's not going well. I'm gonna stop it there. You get the idea. Okay. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to okay. So I'm just gonna read your instructions. I don't know what drop it means. You have to explain to me what drop it means. I understand all of your instructions other than drop it. See, I enabled the crosshair. I zoomed in. Here, we're zoomed in. Oh, what? Do? You made it do a thing. You made it do a thing. I don't even know what it's doing. I'm hitting the space bar. I see things happening. I just don't. I'm hitting the space bar. I'm hitting it. I see like little explosions. Zoom in more. Okay. Oh. So now you could be a drone dropping. You could drop bombs as a drone. There we go. Yeah, it's real time shelling. Except you get to decide where the shell goes. Okay. Oh, this was updated 3 minutes ago. Was that you adding that 3 minutes ago, or is this is just? No, I just loaded the screen a long time ago. Okay, so that anyway, that is the attack north of I mean south of Krasnohorivka. They did this huge assault. We see all the vehicles explode. It didn't go well. This other assault to the west of Krasnohorivka, again we see all the vehicles explode. Didn't go well. Okay, this video in particular, um, yeah. So prior to that, we saw all of these other vehicles destroyed, right? Um, a T-62M, a T-80 BVM. We saw BMP-1, T-80 BVM. So all of these vehicles are just getting destroyed. This entire assault, from everything that we can see, all of the evidence that I've seen is that Russia has accomplished nothing. They 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 may have taken this very small settlement. Um, I don't even know what this is, to be honest. Is it? I don't know what this is. I don't even know if this is a settlement or if it used to be a settlement or what. But they may have taken this area. They may, at most, moved up to this tree line along the railway. Um, but there's zero evidence that they've gotten to Stepova, and there's no evidence, none, that they've gotten to Bredici. So yeah, this whole assault is for naught that we can tell. There was a drone attack here, which is we used to believe was a Ukrainian controlled, but now Ukraine is attacking there. But that's it. That's it. That's all we see. And I don't think this is a waste management site. I think there used to be houses there. I just think the satellite image is too low res, and I think the houses are destroyed. Let's see if I can find another image. Yeah, this is the same place but with higher res. I think these used to be houses. I think used to be maybe a very long time ago. They're destroyed though. They might be dachas. Um, so so yeah, that's really okay. So there was a very interesting um, comment today from a Russian. Let me find it. I kind of want to read it to you because it's super interesting. Okay, I need to find it. This guy posts very frequently. I need to find which one I want to read. Uh, one of the ones that from today, although there narrows it down to like 10. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to just copy and paste his text and then remove some of the bad words and replace them with happier words. Let's replace them with happy words. Um, the grammar might not be up to par after just randomly replacing words. So sorry about that. I'm just replacing unhappy words with happy ones, so we don't spam the video with racist slurs and stuff. Let's see if there's. I'm gonna do a quick scan for more racist slurs. Uh, um, I am not seeing one at the moment. Trying to get rid of the racist slurs that often are in Russian writing. Um, uh, let's just. Okay, I'm not seeing one. I may have missed one, but let's go for it. Maybe I should put this in like a text editor so that it's like easier to read. One sec. I wasn't prepared to show this, but I kind of want to show it because I think it's interesting. Okay, well, let's zoom in a whole bunch. Okay, so here we go. Oh, I shouldn't do that. I should do it this way. Here we go. Okay. Oh, thanks, Luis. Happy Friday, indeed. Okay, so there are some points in this text that I find very interesting. That's mistranslated. Okay, so saying the main caliber that they're shooting now is 152 millimeter. That is actually interesting because it wasn't always true. There was a time where they were shooting other calibers, and there was a time where they were shooting a lot of mortars. So it wasn't always true that their main gun was 152 millimeter. So but the point here is that they shoot high explosive fragmentation, obviously, because it's a howitzer, and they're going up against concrete fortifications, and concrete is pretty good at absorbing high explosive shells. And the key here is that the barrels are worn out and that there's a weight dispersion of their 152 millimeter shells. So in a prior post, he said that the shells are plus or minus like I think he said 2.5 kilograms. I think that's what he said. Or maybe he meant plus or minus like 1.25, so that the spread was 2.5 kilograms. Maybe that's what he meant. So, but when you have your shells with a spread this large, it can it can change the shell impact point by several hundred meters. So it's somewhere between 200 and 1,000, 200 and 1,000 meters of spread. So you can do 200 to 1,000 meters. Okay, so that's what this weight dispersion does. Is it can change where the shell hits by 200 to 1,000 meters. Now, in addition to that, they also have worn out barrels, which I'm not sure how much that impacts. I guess it depends on how worn they are, but that's not helping. So under the best circumstances, they have a spread of 200 to 1,000 meters. The worn barrels are going to add to that. And in addition, and compounding this problem is that they're going up against concrete fortifications that are poured, that were poured and crafted over the course of a decade, and they require a direct hit to do any damage. So this is all forcing them to fire a tremendous number of shells in order to do damage to concrete fortifications. And these shells, like the number of shells they have to fire is vastly more than they can really afford to shoot, because they're now in a position where they don't have an ammo shortage. I'm not trying to tell you that they have no ammo, that they're running out of ammo. It's not true. They don't have an ammo shortage, but they don't have infinite ammo either. So you can't afford to use such a tremendous amount of ammo to do such a small amount of damage. And thank you, Marco. Um, okay, so so yeah, that's just a point that I wanted to underscore, that this is all not going very well. So he gets into that these fortifications were built during the Minsk agreement, where they each side agreed to stop shooting, etc. So Ukraine spent all that time building these fortifications. Um, Spoiler, so that Russia did too. So it wasn't a one-sided thing. So they're both building fortifications. Um, so he's saying that the benefit here is to, if Russia can move around, like, because like the front line used to be back here. So if Russia has penetrated that main line that was very defended, and this back line is not nearly as defended, although spoiler, it is defended. It's just not as well defended, but it is defended. So he's saying that the benefit of attacking on these flanks is to force Ukraine to expend more resources defending this flank, which isn't as well defended as this front. And that is the benefit. The benefit is not trying to chew through and break through and create this so-called cauldron. The benefit to Russia is actually to force Ukraine to defend the weaker flanks. Okay, and then he gets into how the red arrows are making him angry because they're not representative of the reality. That And then he talks about how blah blah blah. Whatever. I'm just gonna summarize the rest. So he talks about how in order to have any sort of success here, you have to carefully move up, taking probably a lot of casualties, get a foothold, develop that foothold against counterattacks, because Ukraine isn't going to let them just do it. Ukraine is going to regularly counterattack, trying to push them back. So they have to develop a foothold, reinforce it, you know, really set up their position, and then move forward and do it again and again and again. And this is going to be a slow, tedious process that's going to take a very long time. But instead, Ukraine has these people who are saying that, you know, I mean, Russia has these people who are saying that they've made these huge successes, which is then going to put pressure on the military to live up to the successes that they've been told that they've already achieved. And it creates a situation where the propaganda is actually detrimental to the Russian war effort. Now, all of this, I completely agree with. I agree with all of that. And I find it funny that the Russian propaganda, like he immediately wrote that Russia had broken through and they reached Berdichi, and that they're going to break through in the south, and they were going to have this whole big pincer movement and cut everything off, and there was going to be a huge victory. And now the worry is that Russia is going to keep doubling down, trying to make that claim true, which they can't do. It's not realistic. It's like a child's version of how war works. Um, and this isn't to say that Russia is the only side suffering from this level of propaganda. That propaganda is creating ridiculous, impossible expectations, then forcing the military to make mistakes. Ukraine did the same thing. The Ukrainian propaganda, with all of the people claiming that, well, first they were saying that all you have to do is reach Tokmak and the whole Russian line will collapse. It'll be very easy to get there. All you have to do is attack the front line. If you break the front line, Russia will never defend the second line. And all this propaganda, which pushed Ukraine to make mistakes. I'm not saying that the propaganda is the reason Ukraine acted the way they did, but the propaganda didn't help because public sentiment and politics actually do matter in a war. Okay? The public sentiment of wanting these ridiculous expectations pushed Ukraine to do things that were not very smart. And it's not a causal relationship, but there is a relationship. And now the same thing is going on with the Russians here. The same thing happened in Pisky, by the way, where Cryboy stated that Russia had broken through Pisky and captured half the town, and the rest of the town was about to fall, when in reality, they had barely entered Pisky. And then the military had to keep doubling down, and eventually they did capture Pisky many months later, after having a lot more casualties. So this is Cryboy. Um, so how do you say Cryboy in Russian? I always forget. It's very similar to Cryboy. It's what? It's Raboy. Raboy. Is that how you say it? Raboy? It's something like that. You said a k in the beginning, and it's like Cryboy, and then you just change it up a little bit, and it's Cryboy. That's how you do it, right? It's like in Russian, people you hear a lot of people saying the Russian wrong, and I'm not saying I'm saying it right, but I know they're saying it even more wrong than I am. People say it's like rebar. It's not rebar. It's like riboy, riboy. It's like that because like both of the R's sound different. It's like riboy. Anyway, if we had a Russian here, like if we had Constantine, he would totally say it right, but he's not here, so I'm sorry. Anyway, that's what Cryboy is. Cryboy is like first it describes him that he's always crying about something, and second, it's like the anglicized way of saying his name. So there you go, Cryboy. So yeah, that was kind of my rant about propaganda. Propaganda is a double-edged sword. It can help with morale. It can hurt morale. It can cause you to do all sorts of stupid things. Um, and don't underlook or don't overlook the damage that propaganda can do to forces who are very proud of an achievement, only to be told by the people that their achievement wasn't enough. That's not good for morale. Not good. And it creates a separation between the troops and the people, which is bad. You want the people and the troops on the same side. Yes, he's a fisherman. Cryboy. He's a fisherman. He's just looking. He's trying to bait you. He's trying to bait you and catch you in a little lie. That's what he wants. Ukrainian losses are not 500,000. It's ridiculous. How big do you think their army is? If they had 500,000 casualties, there wouldn't be an army left. It's just ridiculous. Just use common sense. Anyways, so that's kind of all I had to say today. Uh, oh, so yeah, we talked about the Klashivka area. I'm going to update the map later. I was hoping for a satellite pass, but it's cloudy and rainy, so there's nothing going to happen with the satellite. This northern area don't have any news other than there's lots of artillery and bombing. This Makivka area, Russia is assaulting, but I don't see any changes over the past few days. This area north of Nova Mykhailivka, Russia advanced slightly. This area north of Kislivka, we got some clarification on the Russian line near Sinkivka and Liman Pershi. Russia is assaulting, but I don't know of any changes. And we just did a whole big thing on Avdiivka. Russia is assaulting in multiple directions towards Nova Mykhailivka, but no changes. They've also been trying to push towards Pobieda with no changes, and of course they're still assaulting in Mariinka with no changes. Mikilska, Russia is trying to move towards Vuhledar with no known changes, and we don't know if Ukraine is advancing or if we just didn't know where they were, but they're getting closer to Mikilska apparently, so it's kind of amusing. Russia is assaulting towards Zolotaniva and Aniva with no known changes. They're trying to push towards Stelmorska with no known changes. Oh, one thing that I totally forgot to mention. I totally forgot about this. Over the past few days, there have been reported airstrikes near Volodina or Volodina. Anyway, there's been multiple airstrikes near here reported. Obviously, I have no evidence that Ukraine is near that town. Although I have mentioned in the past, I don't remember when. Oh, the third. I talked about how there was the shelling here, and that I had thought either Ukraine had advanced to here or Russia did a counterattack and there was shelling there. Either there was some sort of fighting here, and that when they tell me now that there is shelling near Volodina and airstrikes near Volodina, and also that Russia is attacking, they're counterattacking from Volodina, it makes me think that Ukraine may have captured this tree line and they may have even gone further south. Ukraine could potentially be here. But we have no direct evidence and no satellite images since then because it's always cloudy. Exit. Do you have boat news?
I was trying to unmute. Sorry. There's interesting boat news that is not quite confirmed, I guess. So I mentioned on Tuesday, I think that I hope this was on Tuesday. I can't remember. Ukraine had kind of said that there was a ship that had some damage, a Russian ship outside of Sevastopol that had some damage. They didn't specify how the ship was damaged. However, Russia, there had been like a report out of Russia that a ship had hit a mine. However, I worked with David Helms, who is a weather guy, and we looked at like the currents and weather and where a mine could come from that ship would have hit, because it's not likely they would have hit like a tethered mine. It would have likely been a floating mine, which typically they break free in heavy seas, so a storm, things like that. It was a possibility, but it was a fairly low possibility. So David and I had been talking back and forth about, well, maybe it's a USV and we just don't really know. We don't have any real data to add to that. So we kind of just left it. And I had talked on your stream and I talked yesterday in Mr. Bond's space that there was a lot of talk about this, but it didn't seem like there was any pictures. There wasn't any real information to corroborate that. And then this morning it came out. If you go to Covert Shores on Twitter, you'll find he has a whole bunch of threads about the different claims that came out today. There are claims that there was another ship, a different ship, possibly hit by a USV outside of Sevastopol. However, the claims with this ship specifically mentioned that it was an underwater USV. So it would have been specifically one of the newer variants of Ukrainian USVs that basically Russia wouldn't have seen coming. There's kind of three reports. So 2 surface ships and possibly a sub that were supposedly attacked by these USVs. The sub, it doesn't sound like that was a successful attack. The other 2 ships, it sounds like possibly they were successful attacks. There are some pictures of a ship smoking, but I would absolutely call that not the best evidence that we could ask for and wait for more. There is, if you go to, well, actually, Covert Shores has it up as well, but MT Anderson looked at the satellite data this morning, and it looks like there is a Russian Navy warship outside of Sevastopol that is maybe getting some kind of help from some other ships. But exactly what's happening, and like, it's just, there's nothing really specifically proving that anything happened. There's a whole bunch of very of information that kind of points towards there may have been some successful attacks, but I would call all of them less than confirmed. So like if we're going on a scale of 1 to 10 and 10 is fully confirmed, I would say we're at like a 4 right now, if that makes sense. And then separately, the Ukrainian corridor this morning had 5 ships sail out, I think it is, or no, sorry, 5 ships sailed in and 2 sailed out, which is great because that's kind of the most traffic we've seen in one day. And again, the more often that they continue sailing, the better it is, and the more prices will drop, and everything is good that way. So that's the boat news I have.
Thank you. Boat news.
You're welcome.
People were asking about boats. I don't know anything about boats. I don't even know boat words. I don't even know water words.
They do have like a whole language of their own, and that is, it's like learning. It's not as bad as Ukrainian, that's for sure. I can learn boat words way faster than Ukrainian words. Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm about equally bad at both. I know fore and aft. That's all I got.
You are way better at Ukrainian than I am. That's for sure. You even have the numbers figured out, and I'm still stumped on the numbers.
Well, let's not exaggerate. So Anyways, there's one piece of news that I haven't talked about yet, and the reason why is because I don't know if it's actually true. So this is you could file this under rumor, but apparently the Russians are very sad because Ukraine is shelling them along the Dnipro River. And they say that the shelling is getting progressively stronger, and Ukraine is moving more boats across the river. I don't know if any of this is true, so take it with a grain of salt. It's the one of the things that Russia is complaining about, especially Cryboy is crying about it. So yeah, just file that under rumor. There have been more airstrikes lately along the river as well. Although I do think that they may have slowed down their airstrikes the other day because the weather was just really bad, and now they're kind of back to what they were doing before. Although now is even slower than it was prior to the bad weather. So it's like I do think that that like 3 day period where they didn't drop any bombs was just because it was rainy. All right, so that's all the news I got. We did all the other news. So thanks for coming, Exit.
Of course. I'm glad I could pop by. I'm technically at work, but hey, it's an Andrew stream. I mean, what more could be important than that?
Oh, we have a question. I don't think you know the answer, but we're gonna ask you anyway. Do you know? Let me read the question. Um, trying to, I forgot how it was worded. Oh, do you know the characteristics of the underwater or semi-submersible drone?
Uh
The one they claim hit the boat because it was
yeah,
like the torpedo drone or whatever.
yeah. I can confidently say that even if I did know some of the characteristics of that underwater drone, I would not likely talk about them yet.
Okay. Yeah, I figure probably nobody knows how it works. That would be my assumption. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. It's not something that I would go talking about personally if I were Ukraine. I wouldn't like write down the specs and hand it around to people. I probably
No.
wouldn't write it down at all. Like I wouldn't tell anybody. Like if you need to know, you know. And other than that, you don't need to know.
Yeah, the element of surprise has been very effective for Ukraine in all of their naval attacks so far. And I expect them to continue that for a very long period of time. Um, I don't expect that we will publicly hear a lot of the things about those particular USVs for quite some time, probably until either Russia releases some information about them or until we start to see some video come out from them. And I expect that that will be quite delayed unless Ukraine needs to, for quote unquote propaganda reasons, show that they've actually had some success with them. But typically, Ukraine is more likely to rely on OSINT folk to kind of prove that they've done their job or other human sources than they are to release that until it's kind of like we didn't see data or video from the older model USVs until they'd been well into action. And then we started to see some of that be released.
Yeah. Yep. So and it seemed that a lot of those the naval drone stuff that we saw only came out because the drone failed for some reason. Like it broke. And there are theories why it broke. I don't want to get into it, but they broke and didn't do the right thing. It was kind of like you know how whales kind of beach themselves when they get confused. It was like that, but a drone.
I think it's just we typically saw the video coming out when they were making a lot of attacks and they were working really hard to change the way Russia operated, and having that extra information out there, whether or not the attacks were successful, was really helpful in winning the information war. And I expect that unless there is value to releasing those, they will continue down that path because they've been very, very good, especially on the naval side, at only publicizing things when they absolutely need to.
Yeah. Yeah, like for example, they've never published anything about their drone with a vacuum cleaner on top that pulls people out of windows.
But man, would I love to see that one.
Yeah. It's very strong wind, very strong. Anyways, so that's the stream, everybody. I'll be back on Tuesday probably, unless there's a good satellite pass, and then I might make a green eyeball stream. But there's probably not going to be because it's autumn. It's October. October's famous for one thing. It's clouds. People thought October was famous for like Halloween, but now it's just clouds. And so is December, and January, and February, and March. Oh well. All right. So see you on Tuesday. Goodbye.